Okay, welcome back everyone to Strange Planet Podcast. And I gotta say, looking at this country from the standpoint of where we're at now, let alone to the beginning of Trump's turn, I take a look at this and sometimes I feel like I don't even recognize this country. And just to fuel a little insight for those that may have forgotten, we've come up with a, brief but yet accurate list of the Dementia Don actions and criminal conduct pretty much since just this term. So, what do we have? He threw millions of people off healthcare. Why? I don't know. You tell me.
Tax breaks for the rich.
Basically, I don't want to say, but that's exactly what that was. And then he decided to go and invade Venezuela, abduct their dictator or president or whatever and his wife, and then bring them back here. Then what's he do? Threaten Greenland for God knows what the hell reason that was about. Then what's he do? Ice on the streets in our own country right here. Terrorizing, literally like domestic terrorism at this point. Killing Americans, as we have lost many. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and there's others. And now this whole situation going on with the Strait, this war he started with Iran, when does it end? Like what? America never used to be about doing these things. Not to mention every invasion or every abduction he decided to do is without congressional approval. So what? We just sit here and watch him not only destroy this country, but possibly the world? When does someone step in? When is someone going to do something? That's my question I add to the table right now. And feel free, I'm sure there's many, 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 many more things I didn't add to that list, but you get the general gist of where I'm going with this. You know what I mean? So that, based upon current news, what's going on with Iran now, because supposedly there's a 2-week ceasefire for right now, which this whole thing, let's be honest, started due to Trump himself. Had he had not done this, we probably would not be in this case. The gas prices wouldn't be off the roof. You know what I mean? And the hilarious thing, as I may add one more minor note to this whole thing, is the fact that he slaps tariffs on all of our allies. And then when he goes invades and does that illegal bombing basically to Iran, you're surprised they don't want to help. You slap tariffs on our allies and then you don't think they're going to help. I mean, realistically, I don't think they would have anyway, considering the circumstances here. But
what I'd say is, first of all, he told them not to help. We don't need your help.
That's true too.
And then he went and begged for their help, or basically said, "Oh, I don't know why you're not helping."
Right?
Like, he told them specifically not to help.
In the beginning,
the United States didn't need them. We're the most powerful country in the world. We don't need your help.
Right? And I feel like that whole concept of powerful country is slowly diminishing as we speak. You know what I mean?
And then he lifted embargo on Russia for oil, I believe.
That's true too.
So we're not in good shape internationally. Our allies are mad at us or don't trust us.
And you can't blame
our enemies are emboldened.
It's unbelievable at this point.
Trump decided to blockade Cuba in an effort to enact regime change in Cuba. And then I guess they were weeks away from, just a few weeks away from running out of oil. And what happens? Russia sends a huge oil tanker there. And what does Trump do? Lets them go by.
Yep. It's okay.
One has to, obviously we shouldn't start a war with Russia over an oil tanker going to Cuba.
Right.
But what was the policy in the first place? Why were we doing that? And
exactly.
Didn't the people, who created this policy either at the Pentagon or at the White House or, the NSA, like State Department, didn't they weigh in and say, hey, this isn't going to work? If Russia calls our bluff and just sends a ship in, what are we going to do?
Right.
Now our country has egg on her face because we had a blockade, and I guess that's not happening now.
Right. We're becoming the laughing. Well, I don't know if becoming is the word, because at this point in the game, I think it's been this way since 2025 at least. But yeah, America is kind of the laughing stock of the world at this point. He keeps making an ass out of himself, and we're just living with the consequences of it and
Well,
having to pay for it.
just the way the dude communicates.
Yeah.
It's, not really presidential.
Did you see
You
his
wouldn't.
did you see, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but did you see his great religious Easter, this past Easter, his Easter tweet or whatever the fuck it was? His
Right.
truth or whatever.
He signed off with Allah is great or something, like
He
peace be
said,
to
praise be to
Allah.
Allah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then he also said like fucking a couple of times in it on Easter Sunday. And this is coming from Mr. Christian.
No, he only used one F-bomb.
Oh, but still, like what president does
Here's
that?
what he said. Here's what he
You
said.
have it? Hit it.
Quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. 3 exclamation points.
Oh,
Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Dash. Just watch in all caps. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump in all caps. Like, what the actual fuck? This is a presidential communication.
Imagine that.
Like
Publicly.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand. Like, in the private sector, the president or CEO of a company wouldn't just, say some crazy, random, insane shit like that. He would be fired by the shareholders or
Pretty
the
much.
board immediately.
Yeah, no, you're right about that too.
But since he can't be fired unless it's by the voters, and now it's too late for that, he feels like he can say anything we want. This is why it's important. I talked before the election. Temperament matters. He is not capable of having the temperament of a president.
No.
Not of a small business, and certainly not of, the leader of the most powerful nation in the world.
Right.
He, these kind of tweets or whatever you want to call them, because this was technically on Truth Social.
Right.
They're just like what would possess him to, just rant like that and just, embarrass our country. It's a complete embarrassment.
Yeah, that's on a global standpoint there too.
Like, there are so many things wrong with that. Like, first of all, he dropped an F-bomb. Okay, like, a lot of people curse in private or even in public, but if you're in a professional setting, which you are as president, probably shouldn't be doing that.
And the leader of the free world.
You're the leader of our country, representing our country to the world. You don't put out a statement like that. Second of all, he threatened, to blow up a power plant and bridges. That's civilian infrastructure, which is a war crime.
Yep.
Okay. It's a war crime.
Not to mention the old girls' school that was already bombed and the hospital.
Okay. But
you know what I mean?
So, we don't have real answers for that. Like why they were bombed, if they were bombed by accident or on purpose. We don't, or by us or by Israel. We don't have answers to that yet. But this is Trump announcing that he will bomb civilian infrastructure.
True.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
That is terrorism. That is the definition of terrorism. You are bombing a civilian population to get them to change their politics,
Imagine that.
to make them so fearful that they change their politics. That's pretty much the definition of terrorism. That's
Mm-hmm.
a terrorist group. Their aim is to terrorize the population into changing their mind about something,
Mm.
it's to scare them into submitting to their political will. That is what Donald Trump threatened to do. Using our military, using our tax dollars.
Basically. Yeah.
He loves
Make no
using our
mistake
tax
about it.
dollars.
I don't have words.
And then the praise be to Allah. Like, what is that?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Was he mocking Muslims? Was he I don't know. Did he convert?
It could be another dementia moment, but
no, I mean, at this point, it's not dementia, it's like psychosis or some type of
that could be too.
like serious like psychotic mental illness, because that is just not a rational thought.
No.
Like, why would he say that? That makes no sense.
Nothing about any of this makes any sense.
Yeah, he had another tweet where he's like, oh, the great civilization is going to die today.
Yep.
Or you're gonna die tomorrow, or something to that effect, like threatening the entire civilization that lives in Iran.
Right.
I mean, that's genocide. Okay,
basically.
So a war crime. It's just psychotic behavior at this point. And this was entirely predictable.
Of course.
He's shown these kind of tendencies like in his personal life before he became president. But he's only become more and more and more emboldened and just like losing his grip on professionalism and decorum. I remember at one point he I forget who it was that said the F-bomb and they caught them on tape, or maybe it was in private. Maybe it was Joe Biden saying it was a big fucking deal back in the Obama administration about the passage of healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, I forget, but he was like, oh, I would never use such words. And here we go.
Right.
He's like, this is like him advertising this on his social media account that he conducts business as officially as president. Okay. This is like ridiculous. That do people just forget that he said that?
Probably.
Do they hold him to account for being a hypocrite, for saying, oh, I would never use that word, Obama or whoever did it bad? And then this guy, it's not even in private, he's publicly intentionally using that word. Right. He had time to think about it because he wrote it down, he typed it.
Right.
So like
before he hit send.
Right. So like, I mean, people just don't realize what a fraud he is. Just how logically inconsistent, and frankly, like, he probably doesn't even remember he said that, because he says whatever, he thinks will advantage him in the moment. And then once the moment leaves, he can be an entirely, say something entirely different. And, people, his supporters, don't seem to care about that.
Right. And then sometimes he'll just play the card where, so like some time passes, despite it being written and saved probably on that bullshit site, he'll just say, oh, I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about. Just like the $2,000 stimulus check that he seems to have amnesia over and now claims that he's never even said. So, yeah, I guess what? The American people just made that up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Yeah, I mean,
there's no harness. The Republicans are going to let him. The Republican Party is going to just let him do whatever he wants, and if that includes driving this country straight down a fucking road to hell, I guess they're okay with that because they're getting paid. You know what I mean? And the billionaires contributors.
they're gonna be okay with it until the midterms. After the midterms, I've predicted this before.
You did.
After the midterms, there's going to be a shift, a pushback in the Republican Party.
I hope you're right.
They're going to, all of a sudden
start caring.
They're gonna start caring about their future as politicians, and they're going to say, we're going to move on from the Trump brand and try to rebrand the party. Maybe not leaving, all of Trump's ideas behind, but trying to, transition it to, someone other than a single figure, something that advantages their party as a whole, and not just because, they don't want, Trump is an old guy and he's, hopefully not running for re-election.
Well, constitutionally he can't, but
so he's going to be out of there. Now, once those midterms roll around, they're going to be thinking about their political futures and what the future of the party is. And, it can't be tied to just Donald Trump because
that's over now.
Ostensibly, he will not be there.
Right.
And so they have to try to shift, power, or at least shift the concentration of that power on a single figure, on Donald Trump, to, a broader conservative, or I'm not even going to give him that term, to a broader Republican MAGA movement.
Cult movement.
Cult with other figures in that leadership. Now, as far as, whether they will, perform a Judas on Trump and do something like impeach him or invoke the 25th Amendment, that's going to be a bit trickier.
Right. It's more involved too.
So in order to invoke the 25th Amendment, you have to have the vice president along with half of the cabinet.
Oh boy.
So all the cabinet officials, half of them have to agree that the president is quote unquote incapacitated and is no longer fit to lead. And at that point, power, can transfer to the vice president. Now, how does this take place? Because if JD Vance goes to a cabinet member and says, hey, maybe we should invoke the 25th Amendment. If that cabinet member is not on board, he's going to tell Trump, and
that's it. Yeah, you're cut.
What if a cabinet member does it and approaches JD Vance? JD Vance is like, oh, I ain't going to piss off Trump.
Right.
There goes that cabinet member. That
one point on that though.
Yeah.
Cabinet members can be replaced, but can't the vice president, doesn't he stay, or is it he gets replaced too? Like if Trump decided tomorrow he wanted someone else as his vice president, isn't there like a process for that at all, or is that like no, you gotta wait till next election?
The way things are now, who knows? But go on.
No, that is interesting
because while cabinet member is at the discretion of the president, it's fine. He can replace whoever he wants. It's the vice president that's more like, oh wait, he's there.
Yeah, he was elected.
He can't be replaced. Then.
Well,
he can be elected replaced through impeachment or being forced to resign.
Fair.
But yeah, he is a duly elected official, and so can't necessarily be fired.
Yeah.
At least not constitutionally.
Well, he can be disappeared.
Well, that don't matter these days anyway.
Okay, well, I Well,
Oh yeah, we won't get there.
we're already speculating here.
That's
True.
true. Yeah.
But like, you know, that's going to be interesting because JD Vance is in the best position to make that first, approach rather than the cabinet members who,
Mm.
if it goes the other way, then they lose their job immediately and they're probably going to, be prosecuted and thrown in prison
Most likely.
for treason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put to death.
Yeah, I could see him calling that treasonous and throwing the book at them. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the founders maybe thought this all the way through. Um, or no, it wasn't the founders actually, because that was forget what amendment that was, but that was a later amendment. Um, yeah, I don't think they thought that one through though.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good theory in practice. I mean, in it's good in theory, but I don't know how it happens in practice. It can happen if the president is like incapacitated in the sense that, he gets like knocked out or comes down with some illness that
Has
prevents
a
him from
stroke.
performing. Yeah, something like that. Um, but as far as, you know, wresting power from the president's hands, I don't know how that works in practice. If the president demonstrates behavior that is like, extremely dangerous and not, consistent with, reality or the national security of the country, if he endangers that.
Like a
I mean,
starting a war that nobody approved of.
well, yeah, I mean, notwithstanding the fact that, the war is in violation of international law, and in violation of the Constitution, because, yeah, kind of need to ask Congress for that. Um, you know, although there's some limited things that the president can do in terms of war. But it requires, an imminent threat, which
Mm.
wasn't demonstrated, and as far as we know, wasn't, in existence when he chose to attack Iran. We've heard many explanations for it, but none of them have been, demonstrated. So,
Well, going back to the JD Vance thing there for a split second, there's one key element I think we're all kind of forgetting, and that's the fact that he needs to grow a pair if he's actually going to do something like that. We're talking about puppets here. They
Yeah,
think he's doing a good job right now. Like, you know what I mean? And he's destroying this country, let alone the world at this point, and our
well, look,
relations with allies. You know what I
well,
mean?
look,
Don't expect that from JD Vance. You know what I mean?
JD Vance figures like, Donald Trump is old. He's not running. All JD
can't run
Vance,
technically.
all well, I mean, he said he wants to run for a third term, but
Let's
I
just see how
think
corrupt
some
this
people
country
might
can
have
get.
talked to him and maybe he changed his mind because he didn't sound as sure about that, the last time it was brought up. But JD Vance figures all I have to do is be loyal to Trump, and I'll inherit his supporters. And, come after the midterms, all I have to do is announce my candidacy for president in 2028. And, I'll inherit all the supporters and all the, party, all the MAGA, and,
All the
they'll be behind,
SCOTUS.
right. They'll be behind me. So JD Vance has a lot to lose politically if he goes against Trump. That's a lot of risk.
Mm.
So, I mean, is it worth it to get rid of the guy 2 years early? Probably not to Vance. No.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, probably not. Plus, he's too
Nope.
big of an ass kisser anyway. So, like, I don't see this. I don't see him suddenly growing a conscience. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it's not about growing a conscience. It's about him doing what he thinks is politically expedient, for himself.
Right, but remember, these people are
wants,
supposed to be representing us, not themselves.
Oh,
You know
we're
what I mean?
past that.
But yeah, we're way past that at this point. That's part of the reason how
we're
America.
way past who they're representing. It's more about,
how am I gonna get paid?
How much are they going to take from this country in terms of, resources and money and integrity and national security, international respect, our allies. It's never going to be the same again for the United States.
Nope. Even the trading might not be the same.
He's done permanent damage to this country.
That's the best way to word it.
We're not going to recover from completely, even if we have 8 terms of like an Obama or
something
Clinton,
equivalent to
we're
John F. Kennedy.
Like we're not gonna have that sort of respect around the world that the United States once had.
No, it's gone.
I think
MAGA destroyed it.
Here's the problem. I think what they did is they divided us as a country, and we're at each other's throats over political issues, random, everyday life stuff. If we can get a candidate up there who can bring us together as a country, I think that would repair some of the damage that Trump has caused. But I agree with you guys. We're never going back to the way it was.
No.
Our allies
are never going to trust bring us together on what, though? Like, half the country supports a guy who said Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day.
Right?
We're already
open the fucking straight.
We're
praise
already
be to Allah. Like, I have nothing in common with that motherfucker.
Me neither.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to associate with that person. Okay.
Right?
Someone who would sit there and be like, "Oh, that's okay."
Right?
I'm sorry.
Down the line, we're going to have somebody, hopefully, who can bring us together as a country. It's not going to be Trump. Not at all. He wants to put a wedge through us so he can squeeze us for every dime he can. I mean, that's why he started. I don't even know if this war is real. I haven't seen any images or anything.
Well, it's very real, I'll tell you that.
This could be stuff that's happening through AI just to shoot up freaking gas prices so everybody gets more money in their pockets. But
that's a save.
I digress. The moral of what I'm talking about here is
there have been troops that have been killed. So you got
troops.
I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm just saying that there's from my point of view, it can seem like it's not real, but I wouldn't put it past them to do some shit like that because at this point, the Republicans and MAGA and everything Trump is doing is all for their benefit alone, and they don't care what they do. They don't care who sees it, how they say it. They
don't care about American
all the
people.
time. And like you were saying, Rook, they don't have any decorum. I mean, with Trump talking the way he talks, even since the first time he got elected, he's always talked like a blithering idiot. Oh, look at that crazy guy in the stands over there. It's just with the Republicans now, where they are, having put Trump up in front, backed him the whole way. Now he's making us look like fucking retards. And so now our country has to do damage control. I don't know how far they're going to be able to come, doing their own thing without him at this point because they can't do it with him.
Yeah.
So to me, it feels like a hard battle for them, and they're going to have to try to cut him off at some point, and that's going to be an ugly battle between the both of them, and hopefully the Democrats can, on top of this, to get somebody up there who's good and can take the void of power that's going to be left by all this. But I have a feeling that Trump's going to do everything in his power to get a third term, whether it's he cancels the elections, like, we don't need those anymore. Because, he's following the way of Putin and this whole time.
He has said that, too, at the beginning of his term. Remember? He has said that even during his campaign. He said, if you vote for me, you may never have to vote again. And these assholes actually believe that shit. You know what I memean? Like, this is some scary shit if you think about it.
And don't forget Project 2025, which they almost fucking
completed,
pulled off.
Yeah.
So I can't.
I'll just say this much, too. And, like, out of all reality, considering where we're at this point, I just feel like if this country was a little bit better educated and seen the bullshit, this should be a no-brainer. But unfortunately, it's not. And it's kind of weird because this is a very parallel concept to going to Germany with Hitler. Because we've said this before in past episodes where you would think, like, how the hell does someone like that get to that point? Now I know. This is exactly how it happens.
Misdirection, miscommunication.
I'll say that it's not really education, it's morals. Some people
that too. Yep.
Morally corrupt. It doesn't take it doesn't take a smart person to realize Trump is an awful person.
Okay. That's a fair rebuttal. I'll give you that one there too, because you could have the smartest rocket scientist in the world, but he may not have no morals, period. You know what I mean? So that's a very good point there too. I'll give you that one.
Not to say that Trump is the smartest person in the world.
No, hell no.
He thinks he is.
Yeah. He's got the best words. He hires the best people. That's why he's got to fire them all.
He hires the best people for him. That's why. They're the ones that won't question anything he does. Yep. Lets him do whatever he wants, despite who it hurts. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Here, lend me some money for my campaign, and I'm going to let you be on the board and let you do some stuff. Okay, now that you've done some stuff, you're fired.
Right.
That's what it is with him. He uses you till he gets what he wants from you.
And then goodbye.
Then he kicks you off to the side.
Yep. That's exactly how he's ran his supposed businesses too. Yep. Yeah. Take what you can get and fuck everybody else, you know?
And sparking from the last episode, remember what he did with Pam Bondi, the person who was pretty much his mirror image, saying everything that he wanted her to say.
Right.
Because he didn't get the result that was supposed to be the result he wanted. She's out in the fucking curb.
Right.
So, I mean, it's with him, it's either his way or the highway, literally.
All I know is like there's still an X amount of months, not too many till the midterms. But as we get closer and as we get inching, closer and closer,
it's gonna get crazy.
That's when we're going to see if there's going to be what we're going to call Make America Sane Again. That's when we're going to see if that's even possible. Because to be honest, the direction this country is going anymore, I don't even recognize this fucking place. Well, this is just sickening.
The sad part of all of this coming up is like all the information coming out there. Who are you going to be able to believe?
Yeah,
the big networks are in their pockets now. They're too scared to fucking post the truth.
Right.
You have these,
and that's a major issue.
Yeah, you have these little companies that are online and stuff doing their best to make everything. But with all the AI out there, you can ruin that with one picture. It's just It's to the point where misinformation is weighed more than the actual truth and facts.
Yeah, it spreads faster too. That's the sad part. Yeah.
For all your fighting and explaining and reasoning and explaining to someone, showing them charts, graphs, data, this is the way it is. One person can be like, no, it ain't, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all it takes, apparently. Yeah, right. It's true. And it could be some, jackass on his couch in his mom's basement. You know what I mean? And somehow, okay, let's just go with that guy now, right? Like,
yeah. And that's Trump's stick this whole time to just be like, no, it isn't. No, it's not right. No, it's just fake news. Fake news.
That's what leads us into past episodes. We've talked about the dangers and the threats of social media. That's the biggest problem about it. That right there.
No accountability in any aspect whatsoever, legally, morally, verbally.
Yeah,
anything.
You name it. Yeah.
And this is sad because if this happens again, we're going to end up being a non-democracy, whether it's totalitarian or we end up going back to kings and shit like that.
Dictatorship. I mean, it's kind of what we're in right now, realistically.
We're still in a little bit of a democracy, but it's
still there, but it's hanging on. Yeah, it's hanging on.
It's like we're watching it form. We're like, kill it.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, coming back full circle, I never thought I'd see the day where America is where it's at and doing what it's doing right now. No. Like this is not something I ever. Like I was proud growing up when I was a kid in high school or, my college era. I was, even with Bush as big a failure as he was, I still had the pride of an American. But if you ask me that question right now, it's not really there anymore. I'm going to be honest. because what I'm seeing is not what this country was, founded in, what its morals, what it does, straight up. Like, what we're seeing is criminal.
Here's the problem with this whole situation. As Americans, you, me, everybody, some of us don't identify with the president. Like, this is not our America, which it's not. But at the same time, he's making it our America.
He's trying
and
to.
While you're sitting back being like, oh, well, the next guy will make it better, he's going to make it a lot difficult for them. So you, as an American who loves your country, I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying you, the viewer, you love your country. You love being free. You love not having Gestapos stop you at every corner telling you, hey, papers, please.
Right.
As a woman, you love walking around, being yourself, dressing how you want to dress, looking how you want to look. That's part of America.
Right. Or even maybe the women being able to have their own decisions over their reproductive organs. Maybe that we can go back to that.
Own businesses. That's all part of the American freedom package. And if they get their way, that's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to stay going.
The abortion thing is just the tip of the iceberg for you guys. And it's just going to get worse for everybody. And the ones that are in the middle class are going to go down to the poor. The ones that are poor are going to end up getting locked up for no reason because they're going to need bodies for some other bullshit. It's going to get crazy. So you need to get out there and vote for the people who are spitting facts. Going to be hard to do. But you got to do your homework.
Right.
I know nobody likes homework, but
and be aware of the AI because that will be around.
Oh, that's
going to be.
Worst.
We're going to be talking more about that in the future, but trust me, there's going to be a lot of that.
Yep. And I knew it too. I knew when it was first starting to come out, I'm like, this is going to be a danger.
Oh yeah.
You're going to use it, and people are going to believe whatever it is, even though it's not true. It's not real. Oh, I can see a video of it. That ruins that for everything.
It really does too. Yeah, like it's gonna. I mean, even in the past couple of elections, there's been little tastes of it here and there, even going all the way back to Obama when it first started. You know what I mean? And of course, back then it was very easy to spot and you could tell it was bullshit.
Yeah,
but it's gotten a lot better between then and now, so like that's just something else you're going to have to keep a keen eye for. But like Mark was saying, the most important thing to chase in any election, not even just primarily this one, is facts.
Facts.
Yes, actual facts. You know what I mean? So in other words, when Trump spews shit out of his mouth, 99% of the time, if not 100, it's complete bullshit. So you can't use that as a source. I'm sorry, because it's just not. It's just not. Like,
but before we continue,
there's no other way to say it. Like,
before we continue, let's go back on a couple examples of what Trump doesn't do. I have a plan. I have a great plan. We have all the best people on it. Never hear any information about it.
Yep.
That's how you know it's not a fact. They boast about having the best plans, the best laid out people, and then they don't describe how they're going to get it done. And then you sit there like, oh, he's got that covered. No, he doesn't. He just bullshitted you.
Exactly. Remember his healthcare plan 10 years ago? He had something terrific. Where is it? Do you see it?
Is it just deny, and let the medical companies make as much money as possible.
Yes, like exactly. Like that's why I thought this country was a little bit more, with it. So when bullshit like that was spewed, they would be like, all right, this guy's clearly talking out of his ass. I'm not going to vote for, a fucking lying piece of shit. But no, they bought the bullshit, and now here we are.
They got honey dick, man. They got honey dick.
That's
he got something that they were sitting on the shelf about. He said, oh, I could take care of that for you.
Right. But then not do it. Yeah. Nope. Exactly.
Groceries, everybody. Groceries.
Yeah.
Good word.
How about gas?
How about gas? $4 a fucking gallon.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's almost Bush era again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty much Bush era again.
Once it starts hitting like $4.60, that's Bush era.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, I heard
$5, man.
Yeah, I heard in some states it is. It's about 4.5 to 5.5 even. Yeah. Believe it or not, a gallon. Yeah. Luckily, around where I'm at, it's hitting. It's going up. It's not coming down, but it was like damn near 4.5. I think last time I checked, a couple days ago.
When it was like 260. We're like, yes, getting back to some normalcy.
Right? That didn't last. And all right, everyone. That's all we got for this week on Strange Planet Podcast. We'll have new episodes every Friday on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and comment. And also be sure to comment. We'd like to hear your thoughts on what we've said on this episode as well. And thanks for watching. Peace.